Good morning and welcome to the Kathy Romano Show. I'm Kathy Romano, my co-host Bobby Smith. Today's guest, you know, as the legendary host of Nickelodeon's Double Dare and more recently from watching the Food Network. And he's a personal friend of mine, so I'm happy to welcome him for the first time ever to the Kathy Romano Show on B101. Good morning, Marc Summers.
How are you? I love the coordinated headphones. That's fantastic. White on white there. It's magnificent.
I know everyone has black headphones and I had to be different. I got the white ones.
Well, congratulations. I am glad you are back where you belong on the radio and hosting your own show, which is way cool.
Marc, thank you so much. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to have you on. I wanted to say thank you to you because I'm not sure if you know how much you helped me, you know, throughout my career. You've always been supportive of me. When I lost my job a few months ago, I reached out to you and, you know, you helped me in any way you can. And I don't know if you remember, but about 15 years ago, you helped me put together my TV reel.
God, I don't remember that, really.
So it was like right around the time do you remember how we first met when I contacted you?
No, I don't.
So I believe it called Shooters? Was that the production company?
Yeah, Shooters. I used to produce shows for Food Network out of Shooters.
Okay, so you were working at Shooters at the time, and we were trying to do something on the radio station on the show that I used to be on, and I found you at Shooters, and I contacted you, and I was like, hey, will you come on with us? And you said yes, and then you know we built a friendship, and then yeah, I came to you with my reel. I was putting it together to do some TV work, and I met you at Shooters. That was the first time I met you. You went through my reel, and you helped me create this reel that I used for a long time. I still use a portion of it. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you because you've always been supportive of my career, and I really appreciate that.
You know, I do that for folks because when I started in the industry, it was hard to have anybody sort of support me in my career. And I was watching an old Merv Griffin show, and Bob Hope was the guest. And he said that nobody ever helped him and said that at some point, if he makes it, he's going to open the door and try and help as many people as possible. And I've tried to do that over the years. And look at you. I mean, you've done great throughout the years, but I was so excited to hear that you landed where you landed. Tell me about the format of B101 because I haven't been in Philly in a long time.
Yeah, so it's me, Bobby. We have a producer, Laura. 3 weeks after I started, she left on maternity leave. So,
Oh, my.
yeah. So it's me and Bobby. And B101 is a family-friendly station. Like I say that we play the music that you're like bobbing around in the car singing to. And Bobby and I are just talking about all things, life, everything, entertainment. You know, we'll do whatever's happening in Philadelphia, you know, across the country, whatever it is. But yeah, just a feel-good, happy show. Like we want to stay positive and we want people to start their morning off right. And if they do it here at B101, we think that we can send them on their happy day.
You know, I'm originally from Indiana, but I've lived in California for many, many years. However, the 12 to 15 years I was in Philly, I have this affinity for the teams. And watching the Phillies last week was painful for me, even though it was against the Dodgers, man. I just was losing my mind on that last game especially.
It was so bad.
It's so bad.
That-
It just hurts. It just hurts again. Another year that it hurts. We've had a couple years now in a row. We've made this run, and then we just can't get finished it.
We were so close, you know?
I know.
Marc, so many people, especially here in Philadelphia, grew up watching Double Dare. You still talk about Double Dare. You don't mind, right?
Oh, listen, if it wasn't for Double Dare, nobody would know who the heck I am. I mean, I was lucky enough to do a bunch of other stuff, but it's what put me on the map. And certainly I'm grateful for anybody who even remembers what the heck I've ever done, you know?
Everybody has a Double Dare story, too, from watching it. Everyone.
Always wanted to be on that show. I mean, I would watch it and go, okay, this is what I would do if I was on the show. And Bobby actually had a friend who was a contestant on the show.
We found out that, my friend Dan and his family were going to be on, and we were like, you're kidding me. And then when we watched it, we just thought it was the most amazing thing ever that Dan and his family, they're on Double Dare. And then Dan could not get up the slide. He just kept falling down. He could not. And we were just like, what is wrong with you? And I think it was my dad that said, yeah, that Dan kid's not very athletic, is he? And Dan has gone on to be a very powerful lawyer here in the city of Philadelphia. He's doing very well for himself, but he could not get up that slide, and I will still remind him of it to this day.
It's too bad that video doesn't exist because you could pop that up every now and then and remind him that as successful as he is, back in the day, he had a hard time. I used to tell the kids how to get up that slide, that you wanted to use the sides because if you put your foot on the slide, it was full of whipped cream and slime and you never make it up, but they wouldn't listen. It was amazing. And the way we ended up in Philly initially, Nickelodeon was so cheap that they didn't want to shoot it in New York. And we started at WHYY, the PBS station there. And the first shows, the first 65 episodes, we shot for about $9,000 an episode. When you think about that, it's just totally ridiculous. But that was 1986. We just celebrated our 39th anniversary, which is hard to believe. And yeah, next year's the big 4-0. I don't know if Nickelodeon's going to do anything to celebrate it, but people remember that show for some reason. Why is that?
It was so great. And even when you did that live tour, I brought my
Yes.
son to that, and he was so into it. He was not old enough, unfortunately, to get on stage. Otherwise, I would have contacted you and been like, "Hey, can my son get on stage with you?" But I mean, he keeps asking me. He's like, "Are they going to come back around? I want to
Really?
participate. I want to be a contestant in that." Yeah,
Oh my.
I think it could still, there's modern versions of it now, like Mr. Beast and the stunts that he does, that
Yeah.
YouTuber. I mean, there are modern versions of Double Dare. I don't know why people love it, but we all did.
And Mark, it's because of you as well. You're the reason why we remember it so well. You were such a great host. You kind of were like a kid at heart. You kind of played right to the kid and the parents so well that's one of the reasons why we remember it so well.
Well, that's kind of you. I was 34, and the fact that I'm going to be 74 in a few weeks, the time has just absolutely flown by. It's so crazy. But Kathy, didn't you do? We used to do a show called Dunkle Dare in Philly at one
Yeah.
of the restaurants. I forget which one it was, and where we had you on and various friends of yours, and you got slimed pretty bad, as I remember, didn't you?
No, you know what? I think that was Marissa.
God, I thought you did it. I thought
I
you
did.
did.
You know what I did? At the Camp Out for Hunger, the charity event.
Oh yes.
We did like a version there. I had to go up the nose and pull out the bookmarks.
I remember the nose.
Something you'll never forget as well. That's hysterical.
Definitely. Are there contestants or like a crazy scenario that really sticks in your mind still to this day?
Well, there were so many episodes. When we got into Family Double Dare, when it was kids, they didn't care if they won. They just wanted to get messy. But as soon as we brought the adults on and did Family Double Dare, the parents took it so seriously. And when we were on primetime, we actually launched the Fox network. We were on at 8 o'clock on Saturday nights. And we started to give away cars, which, in the early days, we were giving away, clarinets and alarm clocks and silly things, eventually computers and trips to Disney. But one day, this father wanted to win this van that we were giving away. And the kid reached for the flag, and he just missed it, and the clock went to zero. And backstage, he took his son by his shirt and was banging him against the wall, screaming at him, "I can't believe you didn't." And we had to separate them and explain to these people that it was just a game. And the fact that your 11-year-old son missed the flag with 1 second left is no reason to, give him the heat that you were giving him. So parents often would get a little whacked, but the kids never did. They just, at the end, they would just want to throw slime and get wet and dunk me into something. But
The
go
kids
ahead.
wanted to have fun. It sounded like the parents ruined it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They would do that. It's true. I always thought the best version was the original one with the kids only, and it just kind of worked for me. But yeah, they all worked. We did get Double Dare, Super Sloppy Double Dare, Family Double Dare, 700 versions of this thing. We did 525 episodes initially, and then Nickelodeon brought it back. We did another, I think, 90 or something like that. So yeah, it's been a big part of my career. And some people get typecast. Luckily, I was at Food Network for 20 years. First doing a show called It's a Surprise, which was about surprise parties. And the surprise was nobody was watching, and they were getting ready to fire me. And then I had started a show called Unwrapped, which lasted about 20 years, and we shot a bunch of those. And then I exec produced Dinner Impossible and Restaurant Impossible. So it's been a crazy career. As you know, Kathy, we have no control of our lives in this industry. Other people make decisions for us. And the survivors, like yourself and myself, are the ones who say, "I'm not going to get bogged down by the negativity of other folks. I'm just going to move forward." And, luckily, the people who are good, such as yourself, pull it off and make it look easy.
Well, and so do you. You're always up to something. What are you doing these days? What's keeping you busy?
Well, the older I get, the less work and a few of the phone rings. But I just did a narration of a movie called Wild Rescue about animals in the wild and how they get hurt just by nature, not by man necessarily, and how these lovely folks in Santa Barbara, California, fix their bodies and put them back into the wild. And so that was kind of a lovely piece, and that's globally, it's in IMAX theaters around the world. So that's going on. And other than that, I'm working on a bunch of projects. I was with Donny Osmond, who I've known for 50 years. He's doing a show in Las Vegas, and I was in Vegas for a meeting with Emerald Lagasse the other day, and I ran into Donny, and we're talking about potentially doing a project together. So, the first national show I ever did was Donny and Marie in
Oh my
1976.
gosh.
Wow.
Yes, and I was on with Lucille Ball and Bob Hope, and I did a sketch with Marie and Ruth Buzzy, and it's just so weird, and all that video somehow exists. Somebody pulled something online the other day when I was a page at CBS Television City on Price is Right, and a woman was coming on down, and she fell, and I helped pick her up, and somehow that got on, Facebook and Instagram and everything, and people were sending it to me. Why does that exist? Who has that stuff,
But then when you want to find something, it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, you're right. 100%. You can never find the stuff you really, really want. So, yeah, I did a sketch on a show called The Mac Davis Show. You guys probably don't know who Mac Davis is. He was a singer, and I did sketches with a comedian by the name of John Biner, and I want that stuff so much. Nobody can find it. Nobody knows where it is. And I did a show called Couch Potatoes, which was a TV trivia game show. We brought on everybody from every old show you grew up with, and CBS owns the rights to that. They won't let me have any of them. And I did that with like every imaginable star you can think of, and I just can't get a piece of that. So it's frustrating, but you remember it in your head, and that's the fun part as well.
Mark, you've talked publicly about your cancer treatment and how you came to Philadelphia for treatment. First of all, how's your health?
My health seems to be good. I go every 6 months to Philly for two reasons. One, to get my checkup, and two, to have food at the best restaurants in the country. And it's always like, where should I go first? But it's going well. I'm on this medication called Imbruvica, which I have to take every day. I had chemo like 3 times, and the last time the chemo didn't work, and they said, we're going to try something. This pill doesn't work with everybody, but it does on some, and luckily it does. It only cost $18,000 a month. So that's a whole other story, which we could get into, but the cost of medication and all that stuff. But luckily that exists and keeps me going. And, initially when you're in the doctor's office and they tell you got cancer, you think, oh my God, the worst. And I was depressed for a year. I just couldn't get over it. And I finally kind of talked myself out of it. And now I hardly think about it. And, life is good. The fact that I'm, it's what, I think 15 years ago since I was diagnosed, and my life is no different now. I just keep moving forward.
Okay, good. What are the restaurants you go to when you come into Philly?
Well, everything that Marc Vetri does. I just think he's amazing. The pasta roast is just amazing. And, certainly every Steven Starr restaurant is great. There's just so many good places there. I've never understood how can there be so much good food in a 6-block area. But do you have a favorite spot?
Oh my gosh, I do have a couple of favorite spots, but you're putting me on the spot, so of course I'm going to forget. So I'm working in the city now, right? Like I really wasn't a city person. To me, like going to the city was a little bit of a hassle. Now I work here every day, so I'm looking forward to exploring more of the restaurants. I'm from the Conshohocken area, and we have some great restaurants there. I don't know if you're familiar with any of them, but there's a group called the Pieri Group, and he owns a couple of restaurants in Conshohocken, and I love his stuff.
Nice. Where's the office for V101?
We're at 24th and Market. We're in the Aramark building.
Oh, okay. I know exactly where you are. Very nice.
Yeah, and Mark, I want to let you know that Kathy's first day, she parked in our CEO spot coming in early in the morning, and she didn't give it up. So she's doing just fine. She's doing fine.
It sounds like that.
Mark, it said Odyssey. There was parking spots that said Odyssey. So
reserved Odyssey.
Right, reserved. I thought I work for Odyssey. I can park there. So I was coming in and parking in the spot, and like the parking attendant kept staring at me, and he was like, finally, he left a note on my car like, you can't park here. I'm like, why can't I park here? I work for Odyssey. Well, apparently that's for the corporate office, and I have to go to like the 6th floor, park there, and then walk into the building.
That's amazing. How is downtown Philly? Things going well down there?
You know what? We're just here in the morning, so I kind of zip in, and I can get home before most of the traffic starts. But Bobby's been here a lot longer than me in the city.
A lot better than it used to be, which you probably know. They've cleaned up a lot of areas, a lot of construction, a lot of nice new looking buildings. So I think it looks good.
Nice. Yeah, I moved there. Well, we first started Double Dare in '86, and the week we got there, there was a garbage strike going on in Philly for months, and I was staying at the original Four Seasons. And there was a Coke machine across the street for construction workers, and the amount of rats that would be running in and out of that Coke machine on a regular basis, and the streets were just they owned the streets at the time, and we couldn't wait for that thing to get over with. So that was my first impression of Philadelphia back in the day. Thank goodness it's much better than it was back then.
Well, we actually just had another trash issue.
Yep.
Was it a strike?
Yeah, we had another strike over the summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Trash was piling up and there were rats running all over.
Yeah.
So it's better, but still we have rats.
Nothing better than garbage wafting in the middle of a hot summer, you know?
We took a pretty good pivot there, talking about everyone's favorite restaurant to talking about rats on the street. There we go.
When you talk East Coast cities, you just kind of have to get to the rat thing. Listen, I used to live in New York City. You want rat stories? I got a bazillion of them, man. Trust me. You know, there's nothing better when you're waiting for a subway to look down and see all the rats, playing hockey back and forth. You know, it's
Well, Mark, listen, next time you're in Philadelphia, make sure you let me know. I'll stay in the city and we can go to a city restaurant, or you can come by the studio and check out our new studios here.
I look forward to that. Thank you for inviting me, and I wish you all the luck in the world because you deserve it.
Mark, thank you so much. That's my friend Marc Summers, Double Dare legend, Food Network star, and all around great guy. Mark, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Be well.